tell people, they're like, how do you do it all? I'm like, well, one, I don't. And two, I love paper plates. And you know what I mean? Like there's certain things where you're just like, I just can't, there's certain things where you have to look at your life and say, I want my kids in heaven. I want my husband in heaven. And I want it to be mostly joyful getting there.
So I'm here with my dear, dear friend, Sarah Swafford. And when we were getting ready to put together this program, She Shall Be Called Woman, and I was like, I get to pick who I get to invite. And my very first phone call is Sarah.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a little bit of selfishness.
Oh, I love it.
Because I love hanging out with you, being with you, doing ministry with you. So, and I am so excited for it.
Well, when you called me, I was like, this has been the desire of her heart for so long. And so just to hear the Lord bringing it all together, I'm so honored to be a part of it. And
praise the Lord.
All this beauty.
Yes.
So fun.
Yes. So such a gift. And so, your ministry, a lot of what you talked about, actually my first experience of you was when you were on EWTN for the first time and talking about emotional virtue. And I was like, oh my gosh, where has this been? It's like such a revolutionary, but also like so obvious kind of.
Right.
So I know that you do a lot of work with like college students and teens and stuff like that on that topic.
Right.
What would you have to speak to us as grown women about this idea of emotional virtue?
Ooh, I get that a lot. Everyone's like, so do you do emotional virtue for married women? And I'm like, oh, that would be like a whole nother, I mean, it's kind of just apply it to your married vocation or apply it to your adult self. But I think it's easy when you talk about it with young adults because it's that like, I'm dating a guy and he doesn't know my name. I just date him in my mind kind of stuff, And so when my whole ministry started whenever I was in the dorms, and it was right when like Facebook came out and social media started. And I just remember, and I was married with 2 little kids and I was the dorm director. And so I remember just watching it all play out and being like, this is going to change the way people date forever and change the way people communicate with texting and social media and all of that. And profit, like just kidding. But I was just like, wow, we look at where we've been and where it's gone in the last like 15 plus years. And it kind of makes me pause, it's just like, oh my gosh. And I mean, when people, when people sit on an airplane with me and they're like, oh, what do you do? Where are you off to? I'm like, oh, you don't have 4 hours. Like there's no way that I can explain what I do quickly. But what I always tell people if they say like, what is emotional virtue? I made it up in some ways. I mean, I made it up in the sense of, I kept going back to, chastity. But when people would call it emotional chastity, or if I ever said the words emotional chastity, people thought I was saying emotional abstinence. Because people think chastity is just abstinence. And then they would be like, well, this chick thinks that you shouldn't have emotions. And I'm like, oh, no, that is not what I'm saying. Like, so that's when I had to start thinking about, no, really, I was on a date night with my husband and I'm like, this is driving me nuts. I have people coming up and saying something that I'm not saying, but I get where they're coming from. And so I said, I think it's more like emotional virtue. And then we kind of started laughing because we're like St. Thomas Aquinas, John Paul II, like all my homeboys would be like, yeah, it's virtue. It's literally just virtue, but I think putting the word emotion there helps because I remember I was doing ministry and this guy comes up to me and he's like, well, if you're not touching a girl, you're not using her. And I was like, oh, time out. Like I've seen a lot of women more emotionally used or even just hurt without any of the chastity side, like the physical chastity side. So it just got my mind spinning, and with the whole introduction of social media and texting, and now we have online dating and all these other like things that keep coming, I think it was just like, the definition I give it is, can you rise above your spontaneous, like emotional, physical, even sexual desire in the moment and choose the true, the good, and the beautiful? Because people see that in a physical way, like in a chastity way. But sometimes it's the mind game, it's the heart game, it's it's the conversation you're having in your head, or the conversation you're having when that person's not even around, with your phone, with your life, with your, you're just like, I am emotionally addicted. I am not being emotionally virtuous. This flirting, this seeking attention, this trying to fill this insecurity. What does all of that mean for where are my intentions in that? So that's why this needs 4 hours, but it's just like much larger. So then you take that for an adult woman, and it's all the same. It's looking at your life and saying, I never want to be an obstacle to someone's holiness. I never want to use people. I never want to use them for my gain. even if it is just emotional, and all of a sudden, and then it becomes this huge look and turn inward of just the heart, and it's the wounds, and it's the insecurities, and it's the self-rejection, and it's all of those things where you're constantly feeling like you have to be worthy or enough. And so often we seek that in other people and not in our Lord. And so emotional virtue was that, just trying to get people, it was almost like throwing up a neon sign that was like, hey, like this is a thing, like beware, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but putting words to it was very helpful. I think that's one of the most, the compliment I love the most is when I get young adult men, young adult women, parents or whatever that come up to me and say, you just articulated everything that I'm feeling or that we're going through, but we didn't have words for it.
Yes.
That's like the number one, where I'm just like, if that's what I want, is for them to be able to like feel this, understand this, and have conversations with it, whether it's a married couple having a conversation, mom and dad having conversations, or young adults trying to say like, this is all kind of like here, and I don't know how to talk about it. I don't know how to live, and I don't know how to change it. So that's why I love it. It's been joy of my heart. Really hard, complicated, sometimes confusing, sometimes no, that's not what we're saying. That's not what I'm saying. Like, okay, but truth and beauty and goodness are always going to want to be tangled, and so it's really just sorting all that out.
I love it.
In freedom.
I love it. Mm-hmm. One of, I think, the most attractive things that you say too when you're talking about emotional virtue is that it's possible to live a drama-free life. And so when people hear that, like, oh, really? That really can be. Right? That can be. Yeah. So you're a mom of 6 kids, yes. 8 months to 18. So that sounds to me like the gamut of insanity and drama. So how do you strive? Or what advice do you have?
It was like, we should probably define drama here, right? Like, I know I said the tagline of the book should be like, how to live a drama-free life, or at least minimize it. I feel like we needed to like throw that little part in. But, it's crazy. I actually have loved, like, I look at my life and it's so wild and bonkers sometimes. And just, I think a lot of moms feel this, where I think I was sharing with you at dinner, you want to be like this phenomenal wife, and you want to be this phenomenal mom, and you want to be like Susie Homemaker, and you want to like, you want all of these roles, because I think women wear so many different hats, and you're like, well, I need to get an A in this area, and I want to have this like rockin' spiritual life. And I think that's one of the things that I've loved about all of this, is you hit on so many topics where we feel like, oh man, do I ever feel my lack? And then also, do I ever feel like, oh, I want that so much, And so I think for me, I turned 40 this year, which is, I've been 1140. It's really great. But
1983 sisters.
83 babies. That's right, forever. But I feel like what I've come to, especially in 18 years of motherhood, is just this idea of, and I actually spoke at a mom's conference, and sometimes as speakers, we plan things and we're like, oh yeah, I said that line. And then other times you get up there and you're like, where did that come from? It was one of those, Holy Spirit, where did that come from? And I told these women, I was like, you're not perfect. You're not gonna have it all together. You are not gonna get an A every time in every single area of your life, which is what like we desire. We're like, because if we feel like we're not getting an A, we're just failing. You know what I mean? And I said, you're not perfect. You don't have all the answers. You're not gonna have it all together all the time. But what you are is irreplaceable. And I have had to lean, I'm gonna get emotional. I've had to lean into that, because it's like, I want to be all these things, but if you're gonna be all these things, something is gonna, you can't be all of these things. And so I really just leaned into these last couple years, like, where am I irreplaceable? And where is my like emotional presence and affirmation and affection the most needed right in this moment? And just really leaning into that, and then just letting some of those other things slide. Like I always tell people, they're like, how do you do it all? I'm like, well, 1, I don't. And 2, I love paper plates. And you know what I mean? Like there's certain things where you're just like, I just can't, there's certain things where you have to look at your life and say, I want my kids in heaven. I want my husband in heaven. And I want it to be mostly joyful getting there. Because having the patience and the love and just the joy of a home, that is hard. And I think that just to all the women out there, it doesn't matter what age or stage you're in, it's just leaning into like, you're irreplaceable. There's only one of you. And there are people in your life that want and need you. And typically what I've heard from my own children and from my husband is they just want you. Like it's not like the perfect all put together version that you think you have to, do. And that has been so like a balm for my soul, I think. And that's why, like, with the She Shall Be Called woman, like, all of this is just like, I feel the like craziness of my life, but then sometimes my husband Swaff and I will be in like, we'll look at each other and be like, this is nuts, like this is crazy, and then he'll always be like, wouldn't have it any other way, like wouldn't have it any other way, and you're like, no, wouldn't have it any other way. Go pick up that kid that we forgot. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just kidding, but like, it's just like, yeah, okay, right. Go. We should probably like, what are we doing for dinner? You know what I mean? So, so yeah, just leaning into that, I think, is just that word irreplaceable in the eyes of our Lord and in the eyes of our spouse and in the eyes of our loved ones and our family and our kids. Then make your decisions based on that, what's important for this moment.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love it so much. And I think sometimes, kind of on that same topic, right? Like, okay, you and I are both extrovert sanguines.
Are we?
Last night we're at dinner and they like put us in a corner, and I think our waiter was like afraid to come back.
I think he knows we would have just served, like we went back in the back and got our food and brought it in, and like he didn't want to interrupt our conversation.
Yeah, we were really
when friends don't get to see each other. It's just like, and go.
Exactly.
My husband always goes, and go. Like, play.
I love it. And so with that though, when you're talking about all the craziness and all of the busyness and everything, but also this desire as an adult, but I want friendship. Like, I want friendship in my life. Like, how do you, first of all, what is the importance of friendship for you in your life? But then also, how do you balance that within all of the other things that you have going on?
Oh, I know. There's this hilarious, I love social media. It has to make me laugh, and like, do you know what I mean? Like, I love social media, but I hate it also. So my love-hate with social media, but I love what makes me laugh. And there was this hilarious reel of this mom at the park, and she's like telling her kids not to lick things, and like, I mean, it was like that little like at the park, and be the lava monster kind of thing. And then she's like, oh, there's moms over there. I should go say hi. I'm always complaining I don't have friends. No, I'm just gonna sit here. Like, she's having this like internal dialogue, and it's so funny because it's true. It's like we all say like, I want to have friends, but it's so hard, one, to prioritize them, and to, I mean, as a mom, as a woman, as a wife, it's like, I want to have friends. Okay, well, that means a lot of different things. Like, that means I need to find time for myself. It means I need to prioritize them. I need to make this time, and then I need to find them, like women that I can run with. And so I think that one of the things that I always tell women is it's worth the work, and it's worth, and also, like, I love my Bible study. All of us at Bible study, we always say like, oh, like when you first show up to Bible study, you're like, I shouldn't be here. I have so much to do. I can't believe I had to put on a bra. Like, I'm, it's always like the joke. And then you like leave Bible study at like midnight, and you're like in the parking lot still talking for like 2 hours. And then you just kind of look at each other like, I can't believe I thought I wasn't gonna come do this. You know what I mean? Like, I needed this. And so my plea to like all women out there is, you don't know how much you need friends, and you don't know how much they need you until you experience it and make that effort. And yes, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be clumsy, it's gonna be all those things, but I would say that for me, having women that, I always say there's people that get it, and then there's people that get it. And I have women in my life, not all of them live even in my own hometown. I have women that are close to me and women all over the country that I'm very close with, that it's like, I could call and I could be real and pick right up, or Marco Polo, which we prefer.
Yes.
I mean, you can do whatever just to pick up and be like, I have a text chain with some mom friends, and it's so funny. It's everything from pray, like real stuff's hitting the fan, to like, it's free, Sonic corn dog day. You know what I mean? Like, it's the greatest text chain of all time, but it's just very real. And that, and then I would also encourage, my husband and I about 8 years ago started doing a thing called First Saturdays for Mary. And we basically just took a bunch of like things we were hearing that were fun for people, and we put them together. And we have 6 other couples that get together first Saturday of every month, and we all get together at my house, and we actually have the kids come too. We don't do dinner, it's at 6:30 because that's just way too complicated. Just feed your family and then come. And all the adults come into the kitchen, and we used to bring like cookies and muffins, and it was really like bougie. And now we just literally like raid our pantries. It's like half-eaten boxes of Dorito or Oreos, and it's just kind of like bring the food. And the parents sit around and have a drink and just chat, and all the kids go play. And then we bring the kids back, and we pray together. It's really beautiful. It's like a Decade of the Rosary or a Divine Mercy Chaplet. And then we do a couple praise and worship songs, and the kids pray over the parents, and the parents pray over the kids. And it takes like a whopping 20 20 to 25 minutes because then it all falls apart. Because my baby was baby number 40, and then we just had baby number 41. So we have 40 kids between the 6 couples. So it's just like beautiful chaos. But then all the kids go run away and we shut the door. I'm just kidding. The kids go away, and then the real beauty of First Saturdays is each of the adults, we all grab a drink and we sit around my living room, and every couple shares their high and their low of the month. And it has been truly life-changing, because you don't go to like a potluck and share your high or your low. Or like you don't share your high or low in the vestibule at the back of church, like, hey, here's my low for the week, what's yours? You know, like you just don't, you know, and sometimes Catholics and Christians can share things even about religious things kind of flippantly, like, oh, how's your prayer life? You know, it's like, it can even be kind of casual. Whereas we've been walking with these couples, and you know, it's like, man, we are very close, and it's so beautiful to kind of, I mean, there's things that we have been lows for us that we have now, like years later, it's like, now it's a high, like for the other couples. And there was this beautiful moment where we all go around, and I'll never forget it. Because I mean, some of the highs are high, some of the lows are low, and then there's always just kind of the in between, like our basement flooded, and you know, it's just all these, you know, sickness, and we've had people have real illnesses. But there was this one moment where we were all going around, and the husband put his arm around his wife and was like, well, we haven't talked for 2 days, so this is gonna be really good. And like, and I funny. Just like died laughing, because I was like, this is the most real thing I've ever been a part of, because it's like, and then there's this joke that if everyone threw their problems in a pile and you could see them, you would go and grab yours and run away. Yeah. And it's very much the like, wow, like that is a cross. Like, but then to hear your friends say like, we're struggling with this, and then to be able to kind of walk through life with them and know, like, I know how to pray for you. Like, I know what you need. And so to be able to live that. So when you say friendship, one of the things that I say to myself is I beg people to find people that you can be vulnerable with, that you could share a high and a low with. So if the person out here listening right now is like a single girl, like living in a house full of girls, it's like, great. Take your relationship so much deeper, your friendship so much deeper, and have like a house night where you get around and you have a bottle of wine and you share your high and low of the month. Like, watch your relationships, like availability, vulnerability, and then accountability. They will change your life, because those are 3 things that you don't do with anyone, that you have to have a level of trust. But I personally have seen just being able to be real with friends like that. I mean, again, it has brought my faith deeper. It's brought even who I am and how I'm able to share like my life. I'm so much more comfortable being vulnerable because I've done it. Do you guys know what I mean? Like, that's like, when I talk to other people, I'm like, do you guys get it? Like, there's beauty here. So I guess my big thing is just don't be afraid to be bold, and to walk up to a friend after church and be like, would you like to grab coffee? Like, that's bold. It's bold to have like a group of girls and a group of guys like go out and do something together. It's bold to be a young couple with little kids and be like, this chick was talking about First Saturdays, and I can't do that, but do you want to like go to the park and like drink coffee and put our kids in a pen and like watch them play and like chat and maybe share a high and a low, or even just something like, just take that relationship a little bit deeper. Like, it's life-changing, and I've seen so much fruit, not only in my own life, but hearing other people talk about it. Highs and lows, it's where it's at.
I love it. I always say, like, you just have to have a couple of friends where when they ask you like, hey, how are you? And you're like, terrible. I'm actually having a horrible day. Exactly. Yeah, I need you to pray for me.
Yeah. Honest answers.
Yes, to be able to have that. But it takes a trust of, and sometimes like it's the first time that you do answer in that kind of a way, and then you allow that person into that portion of your life.
It's life-changing. It's scary and hard, but it's so worth it.
Amen.
And I always tell people, people will say like, why take the risk? Like, when we wrote Gift and Great, we talked a lot about risk. And I said, there's a lot of things in life where you'll never regret doing it, but you'll definitely regret not doing it. And I think that's a deathbed thing, like laying on your deathbed and being like, I didn't invest in good friends. Or like, I mean, like you have your family, you have your people, but I think that that's one of those things where people are gonna die. There are a lot of people that are gonna die very alone. And I think there's gonna be regrets that they didn't just take a step and be bold and put themselves out there. Yeah, scary, terrifying, so worth it, because you don't know what's on the other side of that. It could be a friendship, it could be a relationship. You know, that's how when you meet people, I mean, God can do so much with those people, but you have to be the one that kind of makes that first step.
It's true. Within what makes it so hard, right? Busyness, life, like all of those kinds of things. What would you say to the mom who says, I'd really like to have a great prayer life, but there's all these obstacles. What's some practical tips that you would offer in that category?
It's so great. I think that, it's just like, there's so much in a day. Like there's just so much. And a few things that I have been loving is, people laugh at me, but I've been calling them holy smoke breaks. I don't actually smoke a cigarette.
I love
Maybe
it.
I should. No, I don't actually smoke anything, but my kids have laughed. I mean, I have kids all over, all the ages. And so it's been really beautiful, but there are some times where I'm like, I need a holy smoke break. And so I literally step outside of my house for like 5 to 10 minutes. And I just sit out there and pray. Or I just have to take, like, sometimes, I'm sure my neighbors are like, what the heck, but I'll just like take a couple laps around my house. Do you know what I mean? And it's literally just kind of asking the Lord to like reorient my heart and just, okay, something that's happening in a moment, it's like, it just becomes not as big of a deal when you've asked the Lord to kind of come into that. So a couple practicals that I always say is, people are like, how, what's the best way to pray? And it's like, the best way to pray is the way you pray best. And like, it's like those small things where it's like, it's just having a habit and a commitment to prayer. Who cares if it's like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Like, even if you're like, man, I'm only getting this like solid 15 minutes. I remember when my spiritual director, when I had 2 little boys under 2, and I was trying to like figure out my prayer life, and she was like, what do you do when they nap? And I was like, get crap done. Like, you know what I mean? I was like you literally, like, once you put them down, you're like, tick, 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 tick. Like, you can see the egg timer just like in your mind, like running. And she like gently just kind of said, what if you gave the first 20 minutes to the Lord? And I was like, oh, that would be a great idea. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, again, this is like, we're talking like 15, 20 years ago. And I just have kind of, I took her up on it. And I basically just said, like, I'm going to give you the first fruits of nap time. And so that's been like really good. And then sometimes I would fall asleep, just fall asleep. And she's like, oh, she's a sweet lady. She's like, oh, you're resting with the Lord. And so I used to tell the kids, I'm like, I need to rest with the Lord. Everybody needs to go, like, so as they got older, and I'll never forget my Kate, my daughter who's 12 now. One time she came out to me, she was like 3. She like grabbed her blanket. She's like, I got to go rest with the Lord. Like, I'm so tired. I'm like, good. So like your prayer life, I prefer, and I think it's probably good to always try to do it in the morning, because once the house is up, the house is up. And so I really think if you can get up before everyone, or if you can distract everyone long enough to get your prayer type, hi, here's Bluey. Yes. Great. This is my friend Bluey.
Holy Bluey, holy smokes.
Yeah, holy
napping with the Lord.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. But like, if you can find a way. The other thing I would say that is really good is my husband, who is just adorable and a saint, he would always say, like, my priority of the day is making sure you get 30 minutes. Your mental prayer, getting that time in. And so I think I used to always be like, it's got to be like super structured. And now it's like, he will ask me, maybe it's because maybe I look like I'm twitching or something, but he'll be like, did you get your 30 minutes? I'm like, why? What are you saying, right? Like, did you get your 30 minutes in? And so we don't ask each other, how are you? We say, how can I pray for you? And then, did you get your time? Because that's like, we kind of have, I always say, like, if you don't give it to me, I feel bad taking it. So that I think as a mom, it's like, I need you to give me permission to go pray, which sounds stupid, but it's a thing.
No, it's very true.
So I think maybe all the women out there, maybe have like a really great conversation with their husband and be like, what is your best time to pray? And then I'll tell you my best time to pray. And then a gift to each other is making sure we get it. I think that's been really great. I wish I would have done that like early in marriage, is just like prioritizing it. And then in that time, 30 minutes or whatever God can give you, adoration's amazing, daily mass is amazing, daily rosary is amazing. It's like, all those things are amazing. But like, really pray through, Lord, the goal is for me to be close to you. The goal is for me to be filled with your Holy Spirit. The goal is for me to be healing. So in this season of my life, what does that look like? Because I think that, I remember when we first got married and had little kids, I remember my husband went to confession and he was confessing, like, my prayer life isn't as great as it used to be. I mean, like, college prayer life, like, so busy. But like, like there is like this, like, oh, my prayer life was so good back then, or I did all these things. I had all these, devotionals, and he went to confession and the priest was like, I'm sorry, that man's dead. And he was like, what? And he's like, that man with this perfect spiritual life died when you were on the altar.
Wow.
And Andy was like, jarred by it, but he also was like, that was probably the best thing that he could have told me, because I was trying to like create this amazing, trying to stay with it. And this priest was really beautiful. He's like, every diaper changed, every talk with your wife, he named all the things. It's like, that's prayer. And I think it's hard for us to feel that, because you do need your intimate time with the Lord. But also to be able to just do what works for you. And each season of life, your prayer life is going to take on, it's okay that it changes. It's not like it has to be the same for your whole life. It can kind of morph and change. So don't get too stuck on like the is the rigidity.
Yeah.
I'm not just making that up. Rigidity
sounds good
of like
to me.
feeling like it has to look this way. It has to feel this way. It has to, and then praying with your family, bringing your kids into it. And like, that's always really beautiful too. So.
I love it. Sarah, I'm so excited
I know.
to get to share.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
I'm
get to
excited.
share
I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud of everything you're doing, and
Praise
I'm
the
so grateful
Lord.
because women are going to love this, and women need this, and I'm really grateful.
I can't wait. Thank you so much. Yay.